EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. This is one of the most popular AWS service. EC2 is a virtual machine service, or not only just virtual machines, the services, the other sub-services which are used with virtual machines like load balancers, storage, virtual hard disk, volumes, auto scaling, scaling of these virtual machines automatically, firewall rules for them, authentication for them, a key pair, security group. So EC2 is service for virtual machine and related services. There are really tons of features in EC2. We can go on and on, but we'll confine it to just one slide and then we'll see all of that in action. So through EC2 service, you can create and manage your virtual machines on AWS cloud. It's very easy to scale up and scale down. It's elastic in nature, as most of the AWS services or cloud services are elastic in nature. So if you created a virtual machine or a EC2 instance, that's called, of let's say 2 GB RAM, and later you want to have 20 GB of RAM, you can expand it. Or if you already have 20 GB of RAM, it's too costly for you, you're not using that much, you can also scale in, you can scale down also. So you pay only for how much you're using, and its integration with so many other services makes it more popular. So some concepts or entities in EC2: AMI, which is Amazon Machine Images. These are images from which we are going to launch or create virtual machines or AWS instance. So there is no OS installation here. When we want to set up an EC2 instance or that virtual machine, we need to select an AMI. It's similar to Vagrant Box. Then you also select a template, the instance type, which will declare the compute resources, like how much is going to be the RAM size, CPU, and network speed. Those details can be selected with instance type. Also, to a virtual machine, you need to have a storage, a hard disk, a virtual hard disk. So AWS EC2 provides EBS as a storage, as a volume or virtual hard disk. These are mandatory things that you need to understand and use when you're going to create a virtual machine or AWS instance. And now I'm going to stop calling it virtual machine and I will call it as AWS instance. When you're creating EC2 instance, you'd also like to name it. You probably need to give some more information, like from which project does it belong, who owns this EC2 instance, or it belongs to which environment, dev environment, QA or production environment. All this information you can give through tags. You can give multiple tags to an EC2 instance. Anyways, tags can be given not only to EC2 instance, but all the services, most of the services that you're using in AWS. And tagging is optional, but don't ignore it. When you tag your services properly, you'd be able to find it very easily. You'd be able to filter it. And also in cost, in billing, you can see the tags. So it just makes your life so much easier when you're looking for information if you have used proper tags. EC2 instance will be guarded by a firewall security group. And for some people, this is the biggest headache, to access the EC2 instance or access other services with EC2 instance. The security group, a firewall, it's a virtual firewall. It controls the traffic that is coming towards your EC2 instance or going out of your EC2 instance. Actually, it's very simple to use and the rules are very, very simple and self-explanatory. But if you have some trouble understanding network ports, IP, source IP, these concepts, then security group are a trouble or is a trouble. If you know basic networking concepts like port numbers, default port numbers for services, like for SSH, port 22 is default, for HTTP port 80 is default, and 443 is for HTTPS, SMTP 25 port number. When you know this and when you know from where you are accessing a service, when you're accessing EC2 instance from your home or from your office, from the internet, or whether two EC2 instances are accessing each other, when you understand these concepts, basic networking concept, then security groups are pretty easy rules to set up. And security groups are mandatory. To set up EC2 instance, you need to give a security group. And then one more thing, key pair. When you launch an EC2 instance, you need to log into it. If you have launched a Linux instance, you need to do SSH to log into that. And key pair will give you an authentication. So this will be similar to SSH key pairs. for Linux instance. For Windows instances, it will be used to decrypt the password or get the password to do an RDP to a Windows instance. So these are some required things when you're going to launch an EC2 instance. It's really simple to launch EC2 instance. All you need to have right details. If you have right requirement, then it's really a piece of cake to launch an EC2 instance. All you do is you select an AMI. Will be the operating system that you want to select, or the tools that you need in an operating system. You select an AMI. There are plenty of choices of AMI from AWS. Then you select instance type, which is going to be the size of the instance, RAM, CPU, network speed, like that. Then there are some configuration details that you can change of an instance. Then you attach a storage, hard disk, or we call it as EBS volumes. Then you tag it. Then you select or create a security group, review it, select the right key pair, and your instance will be launched. Let's see that in action. So I'm logged into my AWS account with DevOps user, and with the multi-factor authentication, I'm going to go to Mumbai region. See how easy is that cloud computing, by just one console you're accessing data center across the world. That's just amazing. So we are going to go with EC2 service. Click on EC2. You will see EC2 dashboard over here. From here you can see what are the EC2 resources that are existing. So right now there is nothing except there is one security group, there is one firewall. Okay, but we'll not use that, we'll create our own firewall. But before we launch an EC2 instance or we create a virtual machine, we need to do right requirement gathering. Based on that, we can select right setting of an EC2 instance. When you're up for a task, when you want to do something, you really need to understand what you're doing and what are the requirements. What is the use case of it? Like when you want to launch an EC2 instance, you should know why. So first we'll talk about requirement gathering. We'll gather the requirement, and based on all that information, we'll select right setting while launching the EC2 instance. First, what is the OS? We need to know the operating system that we are going to launch, or also its size, like RAM size, or in short you can say compute resource. RAM, CPU, network speed, all of that. You also need to have metadata of it, like what's going to be its name, what project does it belong to, who is the owner, or what's the environment we're using, in what environment we're using this for, dev, test, production, for which environment. So some metadata you need to collect. And also for what purpose. We are going to launch an EC2 instance, but we are going to probably install some services, set up some tools on that. So let's gather the name of the tools or services that you need to run on that machine. This requirement is going to come from what services you're using. So what's going to be the open ports, or should I say listening port? On what port it will be listening. This is one important thing. This will help you decide the right security group rules. Like if you're running MySQL and you're on default port 3306, then you can set right security group rules on that. So now let's fill in these details. OS, I'm going to use CentOS 7. Compute resource, I'm going to keep minimum, and I will tell you why I have given minimum over there. I'll explain you that later. Then name, project, owner. So those are the details which I'm going to use in tags. Instance name, project Earth, owner DevOps, and environment QA. Now this may sound a little dumb or look little dumb, but trust me, this is the best way of executing any task. First, gather requirement, as much as requirement as possible. The more requirement gathering you have done, the better your task execution is going to be. And you don't have to run post to pillars to find the information when you're doing a task. Now, tools and services. So I'm going to set up two tools over here. One is going to be Git, so it doesn't need any open ports, and one is going to be HTTPD service. So listening port is going to be for Git. We're not going to access it any remote work. but for HTTPD it's going to be listening on port 80, and also there will be port 22 here. SSH service, we are going to do SSH to this instance, so port 22 will be listening. So with all this detail, we can start launching the instance now. And before we again start the launching the instance, just keep this in mind. If you do this first before launching the instance, your life will be easy. First, set up the key pair, set up the security group rule, and then launch the instance. That should be the ideal practice, at least in the beginning. So key pair is going to be the login key to the EC2 instance, security group is going to be the firewall, and then the actual step when we launch the instance, we're going to select key pair and security group. So with all that information, let's get started. First, let's go to key pair. You can find that in network and security. Click on key pairs, say click create key pair, give the key pair name. So I'm going to give the name of my project and the environment, because key should be separate for separate environments. Like I'm going to use this key to log into all the instances in QA environment, but when I launch production instances, that will have different keys. So that's why I give the name to the key and the environment name, project name, sorry, and the environment. And also I mostly specify the region name. So that's naming convention. Click on create. So when you do that, it will download a file, PEM file. This is called as the private key. Say OK and it will be saved. And in here you see a public key. And your private key will be downloaded into downloads directory mostly. Once you miss the private key, if you by mistake deleted this private key, there is no way to recover it. What you see over here is a public key. Okay, this is the same concept as SSH key pair. We run SSH key gen, it creates two keys, public and private. It's the same thing. This is the public key and that one is the private key. If you lose the private key, it's gone. You can't recover it back. Now let's go to security group, and you will see one existing security group over here, default. I'm going to create a new security group. Click on create security group, give it a name. Again, I'm going to give here project name, hyphen environment name, and hyphen the services that will be running. Let's see, web. I'm going to run web services and an extension SG. I always give this extension SG. It's very easy for me later. I'm going to show you for some work when I'm going to search for something. Anyways, so that's the name, and you can give some better description than that. Now in security group, there are two kinds of rules. So let's go through it again. Security group, these are firewalls. In security group, you have to set rules. These rules will allow a traffic, and you only have allow rules here in security group. There is no deny rule. So by default, everything is denied. If you want to allow any port access, like access on port 80 or 22 or 3306, then you have to set up a rule there that this port should be allowed to be accessed from this and this location. So it's going to be explicitly allow and implicitly denied. But you have the rules checked in two forms, two ways, two directions, sorry, inbound and outbound. Network packets that is coming towards the instance, that's going to be inbound traffic. The traffic that is going out of the EC2 instance. From the EC2 instance, you are trying to access something that is outside of EC2 instance. So traffic, network packets are going to travel out of the instance. So you can have an outbound rule also. You can restrict your EC2 instance to not access some port. By default, outbound rules will say all allow from anywhere. So no, EC2 instance can access anything from outside, but the traffic that is coming towards the instance, that's the one we most of the time we tighten up. We set the rules for that, for the inbound traffic. So what rules to set up? This answer you will get from your requirements. What services are you running there? What are the open ports in your EC2 instance? Based on that, you set up the security group rules. So let's do it. So this is for our instance that we are going to launch, and we are going to run two services, two tools, Git and HTTPD. So Git anyways, it's not a network based service, so no rule I need to set over there, but I am going to do SSH to this instance. So I am going to set up first SSH type. So in type you can see a lot of protocols name, SSH, SMTP, DNS, HTTP. When you select that, it will select the right port also for you automatically, and that you can't change. But if you want to give some custom port, you can do that. You can go to custom TCP rule or UDP rule, and if you see there is a separate ICMP rule also for ping. By default you won't be able to ping an instance. You need to set up a rule. If you want your instance to be allowed for ping, like you ping the EC2 instance to check its network connectivity, then you can select that, but I never recommend enabling ping. Okay, it's a security threat. Ping of death. Okay, some attacks. So never enable this ICMP. Okay, ignore this one. So we're going to go with SSH port 22. Source, from where you would be accessing this instance on port 22. So in source you have custom, you can give an IP address there, or you can give anywhere, which is a very dangerous rule. Anywhere means from anywhere in the world it is going to allow request on port 22. When it's SSH, you don't want anybody else to do SSH, only authorized people should be able to do from right network. So I'm going to select there my IP. When I do my IP, it automatically detects my public IP and will put it over there. And mind you, this is the public IP, not private IP of your computer or laptop. Public IP that you got from internet service provider. Okay. So from this IP, I can do SSH. I can access port 22. I also need one more rule there, port 80, which is for HTTP, and I want to enable from anywhere. So anybody in the world can access this web service which is running over here. Okay, and if you want, you can give some descriptions also, but I'm going to skip that now. So port 22 from my office, port 80 from anywhere in the world, right? And there's outbound rule also, which will be most of the time all traffic allowed from anywhere. So from EC2 instance, you can access any other port outside of the network. Let's say create. So there security group is created. Let's give the name to it also. All right. So we have key pair, we have security group. Now it's time to launch the instance. So let's go to instances there and say launch instance. You can click here. Now it's time to select the AMI. So AMI are this bundled operating system. It will be bundled. It could be bundled with any other tools also. So you see Amazon Linux. Amazon has its own Linux operating system. Then you can go with Red Hat Enterprise Linux 7. So we are in quick start AMI section. Here you can know the most popular AMIs are listed over here, and look for free tier eligible, this option, because we are going to use free tier. We are going to use free tier AMIs. And yes, some AMIs are free, some there are charges. SUSE, Enterprise Linux, Ubuntu Server, this all comes under free tier. Even Microsoft Windows Server 2019 base, and that also it's giving us free tier. It comes under free tier. You'll understand that concept in few minutes. So these are quick start, the most popular AMI. If you have your own custom AMI, you can find it that in my AMI section. Then you have AWS Marketplace. This is where you can go for shopping for AMI, AWS AMI. So you can see there are a lot of AMIs. So if I scroll down, you see there are 2,360 for products, 553 products for developer tools. But there are like so many AMIs here. Okay, not all of them are going to be free. Like this Juniper, this is a firewall from Juniper, a virtual firewall, and this is like $0.55 per hour. Or you can take an yearly contract of $2,280. Okay, so this is not free. F5 load balancer. CentOS 7. Now CentOS is a free operating system. It's open source. But you see, this is little different. CentOS 7.2 LAMP, SE Linux enforcing. So some company have taken CentOS and made it little better, more security, and they are selling that image at a cost of $0.01 per hour, or you can take an yearly contract. You know what, if it's CentOS, I would like to create a free one. So you can search for AMIs. I'm going to search for CentOS. See, there you go, you have like CentOS 7. This is free tier eligible, so I'm not gonna get charged anything. $0.00 per hour. And there's CentOS 6, that's also free tier. And you see that TLC CentOS, that's not free. So make sure you're looking for free tier eligible. Okay, so I'm going to select that CentOS 7. That's our AMI. Before I go there, just let me go back. Previous, cancel. Yeah, there's also one more section, community AMI. These are AMIs that are shared by so many people around in the AWS account. I do never use community AMI because I don't really trust. It's gonna be from someone who created it. I don't trust its security. I don't trust its stability. So I just never use community AMI. I go either for AWS Marketplace, or if I need something custom, I create my own AMI and keep it in my account. So let's continue with CentOS 7. See, continue. Now here comes instance type. Here you decide what is going to be the size of your instance. RAM size, CPU size. So you don't have control on CPU separately and RAM separately and network speed separately. You have to select a template. You have to select type. It's simply called as instance type. So T2 Micro, which is free tier eligible, gives you 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM, EBS only, and network performance is low to moderate. Okay, this is T series. So T2 Micro comes in free tier, but in T series there are other like T2 small that gives you 2 GB of RAM. Then you have T2 medium where we get 4 GB. Then T2 2X large. It's like purchasing a t-shirt of different size, right? That's how the servers are nowadays, right? Very easy to order. T3 nano. Now T series is a general purpose series. You have other series also. M series, which is the most popular series. If you are not sure what to use, you generally go for M series. Okay, it's general purpose, and this will give you better network performance compared to T series and better EBS volume speed also. It's M5D large. This M5D 224X large, that's 384 GB of RAM, 96 CPU. Huge instance. Don't even by mistake select that, because that is gonna give you nice bills. Okay, and network performance 25 gigabytes. That's good. Then you have M5 normal series. This is M5D. Now instance type they changes. Okay, different names will come. Now it's M5. It could there was M2, M4. Like you see, M4 is still there. You see M4.large. So check based on your requirement what's going to be your RAM size and CPU. In our requirement gathering, I have selected minimum, right? So I'm going to go. That's because I'm going to go with T2 Micro, which is free tier. Okay. So if you're not sure, go with M series. It will give you better network performance also. But if you don't want good network performance, you're fine with decent network performance, you can go with T series. Okay. Pricing are different. Right? It's going to be M is going to be more costlier than T series. Then you have C series, that is compute optimized. Its CPU is going to be better than T series or M series. You should select this for CPU intensive application running on your EC2 instance. If you have such kind of application, then go for C series. And let's say you selected something now, but later you wanted to switch. You can anytime switch. You can change instance type whenever you want. All you need to do is shut down the instance and change it in the setting. So you have compute optimized C series, then graphic for graphics card if you need, and like game development and all, you need graphics. So there's G series or P series. Okay, it's P series actually. There used to be G series previously. Then memory optimized R series, which gives you better RAM, not the size but quality of the RAM will be better. And then you have storage optimized better disk IO, you know, like for DB instances where there's too much of transaction happening, better DB instance is a good option, you know, better IO on the disk. So we are going to go with T2 Micro for sure, and let's select that. Make sure if you don't select that, then if you select anything else, that doesn't come under free tier account, okay, that will be billed. So make sure you go for free tier. So your AMI is free, now your instance type is also free, so your entire instance becomes free. So go next. Now these details, we are going to use these details later. As of now, we're going to keep it default. When we do VPC, that time we'll come back and change some settings over here. Next, storage. So AMI that we selected, any AMI that you select comes with a root volume. And if you want, you can increase its size. You know, I selected CentOS 7, it's 8 GB. And when I delete the instance, and that time I also want to delete this volume also, then I put a check mark here, delete on termination. So when I delete the instance, this volume will be also deleted. If you want, you can add more volumes, but that we will see in the next video. EBS volume, how to add extra storage. As of now, just take this default and go add tags. And here we're going to add some tags. Okay, these are some general tags that I'm using. You can give it any tag. More tag, better it is. Okay, it's good for filtering. Next, go security group, and you can create security group here or you can select it. Since we already created our security group, I'm going to select it. And that's always good. Okay, instead of messing up later, then forgetting what rule to add, better prepare your security group rule first. Go review and launch. Review all the details, what you selected, and say launch. Now here you have to select the key pair, the login key. So either you can say create new key, or you can say proceed without key pair, then you won't be able to log into this instance. Choose an existing key pair we already created, and I'm gonna say acknowledge and launch instance. When you launch an instance, you get an instance ID. You can click on that, and in no time your instance will be up and running. So that was about launching the instance right from requirement gathering. In the next video, we will see how to maintain this instance and troubleshoot if there are any issues.